Toss the bucket.
Spellweaver has an update, version 0.35 just downloaded today, and I wanted to let you guys know about it. Real brief, here, let me go over the patch details. Prices in Euro now include a value-added tax. Europe has a value-added tax. Some of us here in the States probably aren't familiar with that, but in order to be compliant with European laws, they added that amount to the marketplace, and prices in the US dollar were adjusted to match the European prices. The note here is they're still a little bit lower because they consider $1 equal to €1. I'm not sure what they meant by that. Yeah, I think it was, let's actually look at that real quick. If I seem to remember, gold was $395 for 2,500, and now it's $495. I could be wrong on that. But I noticed the savings here are a lot more as you go up the ladder, and it's the same with the crystals as well. $495. I seem to remember that being $395, but the savings here are much greater as you go up the ladder. So there's that. And then they added some free packs and tournament ticket bonuses to the last two offers. I'm not really sure what that means. The Mage's Wisdom skill has an activation cost of 1. It was 0. I actually didn't notice this, but that's a little strange if you think about it. You start off with 1 mana and no talent, no skill points. And yet the Mage skill could use the Wisdom, which is draw a card, without having to actually get a talent point in Wisdom, which I guess could be beneficial. I think most people need to get those points up anyway for the rest of their cards, but that's been changed. Soul Prison has a cooldown of 3. It was 2. I haven't used Soul Prison yet. I'm not sure how that affects it, but apparently it was... basically, they did a lot of adjustments because there were some certain cards that were a little overpowered. For example, Thalmic Reflector, everyone I'm sure probably has an issue with that one, has an activation cost of 2. It was 1. Pretty badass card, if you ask me. I've tested around with it a little bit. I haven't fitted into... I'm working on building a deck, and I haven't fitted into a deck yet, but in playtesting, wow. I'm glad it's a cost of 2, but at the same token, if I had my own deck, I'd want it to cost 1 or nothing, so... There's that change. Touch of Light buffs the creature until the end of the turn so that you're able to save a creature by pumping its hit points. Basically, the issue there is the Touch of Light buff didn't go all the way through the turn and you were losing your creature if it was taking any damage. An Undead Hydra gets a Might emblem at the end of each turn if damaged. This is also clarified in the card text. After each turn, Undead Hydra gets a Might emblem. Now, it's a pretty big card. As a matter of fact, if we can look at that real quick. So again, there's no sort or search filter in the cards, so it's going to be a little difficult. But go ahead and look for Undead Hydra. I believe it's a 6. It's a 4 for 6/6, unstoppable. So it now reads a Might emblem after each turn. So this is a pretty powerful beast, but it is a little hard to get out there. Just be aware that it is also unstoppable. So that's something to look out for. Might be you might be seeing that a little more often. As far as other bug fixes, there's an issue with missing confirmation buttons that didn't allow the game to continue. Over on the right-hand side, I don't know. I did not experience this myself, but maybe some of you experienced not being able to click on those buttons for confirmations. So that's been fixed. Fixing a freeze issue in combat where ranged creatures were involved. I'm not sure what this is, because I did not experience this personally. But ranged creatures are supposed to do their damage first, and honestly, I don't know. I don't know if the freeze issue was on the other end or not. They fixed it. An improved matchmaking system to find better opponents. I'm going to try that out tonight. I didn't have a lot of issues finding opponents, but maybe better opponents. Maybe there's a background algorithm that they now try to match you with someone that's more related to your win-loss ratio. I don't know. There is one other thing I'd like to point out. As I was going through the map, I noticed over here, I pointed out in our last video, remember, I had a problem noticing this at first. I didn't understand, or I didn't realize there were the system options, the challenge player, leaderboards, and the rewards. So what they've done is they added a nice little gray banner here, and it looks really nice, guys. Way to go. This is very nice, and it really sets it apart, and I think that was a well-done touch. It wasn't mentioned in the patch notes, but I happened to notice that because I pointed it out in my last video, so... That's it for 0.35. I'll see you on the boards. Catch you next time.
Ready.